Hey gang, here we are again, the Gun Guys, Bill Wilson, myself, on behalf of Wilson Combat. And as part of these ongoing Gun Guy episodes, we thought it'd be real interesting to talk about Bill Wilson's choice in hunting rifles. Now, everybody knows Wilson Combat and they associate you with handguns, particularly 1911s. What I think a lot of people don't realize is that Bill's always been a hunter. We're sitting in his trophy room, and if you can look around, it's pretty obvious you've done a lot of big game hunting all over the world. And I think it's interesting, and most people would be as fascinated as I am, is that with all the rifles you've had and all you've used, I've noted that you kind of have one gun that's your favorite bolt action hunting rifle, and it's this one right here.
Yep.
Ruger 77, but it obviously modified. Tell us about it, what's unique about this gun, and how it was created.
Okay. This particular rifle started out as a Ruger 77 in 30-06. I sent it out to my buddy Tim Carrick out in the Carolinas, and he did I would call this a semi-custom rifle, because we still got the factory stock and stuff like that. But basically, my favorite caliber for hunting in Africa is a 9.3x62. And a lot of people in America don't even know what a 9.3x62 is. In Europe and on the African continent, very, very popular.
Extremely popular.
Yeah, in the southern part of Africa, the 9.3x62 was the 30-30 of Africa. That's what the farmers used to shoot meat, to feed their staff, and to do predator control and that kind of stuff. That it's the using,
By the way, in Europe, for hunting pigs, wild boar, still very popular.
Oh, still very, very popular in Europe. So anyway, I had my buddy Tim rebarrel this with a Packnor barrel to 9.3x62 with a 21-inch barrel length, and it's all glass bedded and all that good stuff. I mean, the rifle shoots really well, But 9.3x62 is kind of one of those calibers, Ken, that it's like a .358 Winchester. It just wants to shoot well. I mean, you can't hardly develop a load that doesn't shoot okay.
Ballistically, I guess it's hard to say that it matches anything in America, but I think it's closest probably to a 35 Whelen, but with a little bit more.
Little more than that.
Velocity.
It's comparing it to American cartridges, it's kind of between a .338 Win Mag and a .375 H&H.
Okay.
And like I tell people when they say, well, why do you like it so well, Well, one of the things I like about it is it recoils like a 300 Winchester and it kills like a .375 H&H. An additional bonus, the rifle's lighter. It holds one more round of ammo than a .375 H&H. The action's shorter, So it's kind of like what's not to like about that?
Yeah. Now, what's your favorite bullet for this rifle?
I primarily hunt with a 286 grain nozzle partition. It's proven to be extremely effective on terminal performance. If I'm going after a Cape Buff or something like that, I'll usually use a 286 Barnes X bullet.
Barnes X bullet,
yeah. But
how about powder charge? You got a favorite powder for it, or just it likes everything?
You can get these things to shoot with a lot of different combinations, but I just always keep going back to Reloader 15. I just full charge of Reloader 15 is what I've always loaded for it, and had excellent luck with it. When I'm over in Africa hunting, I like to hunt bush pig, and that's pretty much all nocturnal stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I've got a Trigicon 3x9 with the tritium illuminated reticle for hunting at night, mm-hmm. and stuff like that. And it's also a great scope for hunting in the daytime, because the areas we hunt is what's called a bush veld, and it's basically thick cover type hunting, where the average shot's under 100 yards. Mm-hmm. So you want a nice bold crosshair, and I like that illuminated reticle even in the daytime for that.
Yeah, that fiber optic. It's a dot, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
In that.
Yeah, it's fiber optic in the daytime and tritium at night. So you've got a dot whether you're hunting in the daytime or after dark. I had one instance where I had to go with a group following up on a wounded leopard, and so I've got the QD mounts where I pop that scope off, and when we're doing something like that, I want to go to the iron. So I've got the express sights on it.
I noticed
for
the
stuff
classic
like that.
Express rifle sight.
Yep.
The band in front, bead front. I noticed you got the barrel band for the
Yep.
for the sling. It's really kind of the classic European or English type stalking rifle.
Oh yeah, it's basically the typical African hunting rifle.
I noticed the finish. What do we got on it for finish?
That's just our black armor tough finish on it.
So you don't have to worry about rust or any issues.
I don't have to worry about that. And this particular gun's pretty rugged. I was hunting one day over there, and it bounced out of the land cruiser. I don't know if people can see this. You see a couple of pretty good sized dents in the stock there. You know, this thing bounced out of the land cruiser and hit on a big old rock and bounced and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, you know, it's like, you know, picked it up, like couldn't find any other major damage. Took it to the range, and the thing was only like an inch off or something like that. I kind of dodged a big bullet on that one.
Yeah. What ring system are you using here?
These are worn QD rings.
Quick detachable rings. That's
good durable rings.
I mean, I've mounted a gun and I noticed you got a pad on it. I'm going to assume that's probably a decelerator, which kind of makes sense. And I've been talking to a number of people. Our old buddy Rob Hott, you know, you kind of converted him to 9.3 by 62, and now that's kind of become his favorite. So again, it's interesting enough. Most people in America don't know what it is, but it's actually getting a bit more popular. More and more people, particularly who've hunted Africa, have come back and said, hey, instead of taking 3 or 4 rifles, I'm going to take 1, maybe 2. And this is kind of an all-around rifle.
Well, for a limited time, Ruger actually, you know, made this rifle in 9.3x62, long after I'd had this rifle built. So they actually made a series of them, and boy, are they desirable. I mean, if you find one of those on Gunbroker, you know,
big money.
Yeah, it's going to go.
I've noticed that. Yeah. Just recently, our buddy Jason Klausner at Lipsky's, they do a special edition each year, very limited, like 200, 250 guns of their African pattern rifle, very similar to this. The first year they did it was actually 757. It's marked 275 Rigby. Real cool gun. This year they did it. I remember at the SHOT Show, I said, hey, Jason, you need to make one of those. That's a real cool gun. You ought to make one in 6.5 Creedmoor. He said, oh, we got one right. He took it all. I said, they've got one in the original 6.5 Creedmoor, 6.5 but 55 Swede, which is one of my favorite cartridges. So I said, I got to have one. So there's one in my gun case now. So yeah, cool gun. And the thing that's neat about this, folks, is a lot of experience, a lot of hunting, shall we say, a lot of miles down the road. It's kind of interesting that when Bill says, okay, I've got my primary hunting Africa gun is a 9.3x62, and this is it. It says volumes about what works and what doesn't.
This rifle's been to Africa about 10 times now. So
cool.
Yeah.
Well, there's another gun here that you use a lot. I noticed here on the ranch, there's those. This version is Never Far Away. I know it's Baby Wilson Combat. It's obviously based on an AR-10 because it's 308. Once you tell us about this gun and particularly why it's your pick here in the U.S.
Okay. Actually, this is one of our the model we call this is Ultralight Hunter, and this is the one I typically do all my trophy deer hunting with, and here on the ranch we have to call lots of female deer every year.
A lot of does.
Yeah, we like this last season we got 80-something doe permits, and to stay in our management program, we're obligated to shoot the majority of those, you know, because it's based on a survey and based on what the biologist says we need to keep the populations to, and so it almost becomes a job, you know, shooting that many does.
But we're kind of feeling bad for you, brother.
Okay, but anyway, this is my primary rifle that I deer hunt with. I mean, during deer season, this is the one that's easiest to get to in my Kawasaki Mule gun rack. And you know, I don't do a lot of long range hunting. I typically, you know, do most of my shots at 150 yards or less. But actually, with this rifle here, I shot 2 nice bucks this year at over 300 yards with this rifle. Cool. And that's why I got a 4.5 to 14 scope on it, so I can reach out a little ways if I need to.
I know it's a Burris.
Yeah, this is a Burris full field 2, 4.5 to 14. The rifle's got 18-inch barrel. Got our 2-stage trigger. I'm a big fan of the 2-stage trigger for the AR platform. And yeah, this setup here with a Hornady 165 grain SST is a very, very efficient combination. I mean, when you shoot something with that 165 SST, There's typically not much tracking involved.
I know. I'm a big fan in the 6.5s of the 140 SST, and same deal. It's pretty efficient.
Yeah, it really is. So this gun gets a lot of miles in my Kawasaki Mule here on the ranch. Like I say, we have a long deer season here from the 1st of October to the end of February, and this is the primary gun in my gun rack during that period of time when I'm focusing more on deer hunting than I am hog hunting. When I'm hog hunting, I'm always testing something. So it's you never know what's going to be in my gun rack in the off deer season.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting that most people don't realize I think you were telling me that in your AR business, you've offered like how many calibers?
Right now, we're shipping 20 different calibers, and we have 4 more in testing stage right now.
But and again, I love it when people tell us, well, ARs are not hunting guns. Well, maybe they aren't for them, but for a lot of people, this is a pretty versatile tool.
Yeah, and especially for hog hunting, a lot of the southern states like, Texas and Georgia and Florida and even in California, there's a real hog problem, and really nothing's more efficient than a good, center fire,
good follow-up shot,
semi-auto for hog hunting.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty interesting that of all the guns you've got and all the guns you've been through, that most people, you generally come down to just a few that you really use a lot. And I think the fact that these are the two says a lot for your choices, because let's face it, I don't know anybody that probably spends as much time hunting. You do it literally on a daily basis here on the ranch, and you experiment more than anybody I know. You've got a beautiful setup where you can walk out of the loading room right to the bench and test, and pretty cool, folks. I think you're pretty lucky today to find out what works for Bill Wilson. Hide and watch. We're going to bring you more of these in the Gun Guy episode. You're going to learn more about Bill's picks and choices and equipment. And be sure and subscribe to the Wilson Combat YouTube channel. Good info coming your way. Take care. Stay safe.